So, what if I told you that becoming a millionaire isn't really about luck at all? That it's actually a mindset, something you can build? Well, today we're going to break down the practical steps and, more importantly, the mental shifts that can turn that dream into a reality.
All right, let's just get right to it. The big question, the one you're probably thinking about right now. Can you actually become a millionaire in a single day? I mean, it sounds like a fantasy, right? Something you win in the lottery. But what if the whole path was way more accessible than we've all been led to believe?
Okay, look, let's be real. One day is probably a bit of a stretch for, most of us. But the core idea here, it's powerful. Becoming a millionaire is way more achievable than you might think. Seriously, it's happening every single day for people who are launching businesses or just turning a simple idea into $1 million reality. So to get there, we first have to tear down all the mental roadblocks that are standing in the way. Before we can build anything, we have to clear the foundation, and that means busting some of the most common myths about wealth that hold so many of us back. First up is the big one, this idea that you have to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But the reality, that's just not the whole story. So many self-made millionaires started with practically nothing. Their real capital was their hard work, their smart decisions, and, honestly, a lot of creativity. Your starting point doesn't define your destination, not at all. It's your mindset and your actions that do.
And what about this one, the myth that you have to be some kind of genius? The truth is, you don't need a crazy high IQ. What you do need is a deep-seated curiosity, a real drive to just keep learning. It's about being willing to take smart, calculated risks, which isn't being reckless, by the way. It's a necessary part of growth.
And here's a really crucial mindset shift. We tend to look at successful people and we only see their highlight reel, right? Their wins. But their journey is absolutely paved with failures and setbacks. The big difference is they don't see failure as a stop sign. For them, it's just feedback. It's a lesson on what to tweak before they go at it again. That resilience, that's their superpower. Okay, let's bust one more big one. The old saying, it takes money to make money. You know what? You can absolutely start small. The real engine for growth isn't how much you start with, it's the incredible power of consistency over time. That's the secret sauce. All right, so now that we've cleared away all that mental clutter, let's get to the good stuff. Let's build the actual framework. This isn't about luck or some secret society. It's a practical, actionable blueprint for creating real wealth. So the blueprint for building wealth really comes down to these three powerful pillars. First, you've got to leverage the skills you already have. Second, you learn to invest smartly. And third, and this is the one that can really accelerate things, you find a real problem out there in the world and you solve it. Each piece builds on the next. Okay, let's make this super practical. When we say leverage your skills, I want you to ask yourself, what's something you do well? Something that feels like play to you but looks like work to other people? That's where your value is. For investing smartly, it's simple. Start small and do your research. The power of compounding is no joke. And as for solving problems, just start listening. Pay attention to what people complain about. Every single complaint is a potential business idea in disguise.
Now, theory is great and all, but let's see how this blueprint actually works in the real world. Let me tell you the story of Sarah, because it perfectly captures how these principles can lead to some pretty incredible results.
So meet Sarah. She didn't have a trust fund. She didn't invent some revolutionary new tech. She was a freelance graphic designer, and her main assets were her laptop, her skills, and a real passion for what she did. Sound familiar? So how does she pull it off? First, she leveraged her skills, right? She built an amazing reputation as a freelancer. Then, as her business grew, she paid attention. She spotted a market need. Other small business owners wanted to create their own cool branding, but had no idea how. So she created an online course to solve that exact problem. See what she did? She followed the blueprint perfectly. And the results? Well, in the very first year of launching her course, Sarah made over $1 million. Think about that. This wasn't a lottery ticket. It wasn't some one-day miracle. This was the direct result of leveraging a skill she had and using it to solve a real market problem. It just proves how powerful this blueprint is when you actually put it into action. Sarah's story is just so powerful because it shows us what's really possible. This isn't just some distant dream. So, with that in mind, let's bring the focus right back to you and what your first steps could look like. You know, this quote really says it all. It captures the entire spirit of what we're talking about today. Becoming a millionaire is not just a pipe dream. It's a very real possibility. It's a goal that completely shifts from impossible to inevitable once you have the right strategy in place. So, what's the big takeaway here? What does it all boil down to? It really comes down to your mindset and your behavior. It's about taking that first step, being persistent when you hit those inevitable bumps in the road, and just keeping your eyes wide open for the opportunities that are literally all around you. It's an active process, not a passive dream.
And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Forget about the $1 million for just a second and ask yourself this one simple question. What problem, big or small, will you solve first? Because as we've seen today, that's where the journey really begins.